Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a closer look at something pretty cool. The Mercedes-AMG F1 City Edition 250 electric bike.
Yeah, it's quite the machine.
Our info comes from an article detailing this specific e-bike, blending that, high-speed F1 world with urban commuting.
Exactly. It's this collaboration, right? Between the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team and N+ bikes, you're seeing motorsport tech meeting, well, everyday city riding needs.
And that's our mission today, really, to pull apart the key stuff, the interesting bits. How does that F1 magic actually translate into a bike for getting around town?
Right.
We want listeners to get a clear picture of how it aims for style, speed, and efficiency.
And it's fascinating, isn't it? Seeing how those really high-pressure F1 innovations might trickle down into things we use daily. So where do you want to start? The motor, maybe?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's jump right into the powertrain, the MAHLE X20 drive system. What's its main job here?
Okay, so the X20, its core function is providing pedal assist, but really smoothly and intuitively. The clever part is the design.
How so?
Well, unlike some e-bikes with bulky mid-drive motors, this one's tucked away in the rear hub. It's more compact.
Ah, so it looks less like an obvious e-bike.
Exactly. It contributes to a lighter feel, a stealthier look. But functionally, the big deal is the torque sensor.
Torque sensor. Tell me more.
Think of it as like an intelligent helper. It measures how hard you're actually pedaling,
Okay.
and then it matches the electric boost perfectly, instantly.
Right, so it's not just like an on-off switch, giving you a sudden push.
Not at all. It feels really natural, like your own legs just got stronger, hills become easier, accelerating from lights is, much smoother.
Yeah.
Super useful in city traffic.
That smooth assist sounds perfect for stop-start city riding.
Yeah.
Now, something else mentioned is the Gates carbon belt drive. How does that stack up against a normal bike chain?
Ah, the belt drive. Yeah, that's a significant feature, especially for, hassle-free commuting.
Yeah.
Big advantages.
Oh.
Well, first off, it's incredibly quiet, no chain clatter, just smooth silence. And maybe the biggest plus for urban riders, zero lubrication needed. Absolutely none.
Oh, wow. So no oily marks on clothes?
Yeah.
No maintenance?
Exactly. Forget the greasy chain cleaning. Plus, these carbon belts are super durable. They last much longer than chains, generally speaking. Less fuss, less maintenance long-term.
Convenience and durability. Sounds like a win-win for city use.
It really is. It's one of those premium touches that makes a difference in daily use.
Okay, moving on to the tech side. It seems quite connected. What about the display in the app?
Yeah, there's a couple of things going on here. The article mentions an LED display integrated into the top tube.
Oh, neat. Subtle.
Yeah, it keeps the handlebars clean. It gives you the basics, battery level, assist mode, that kind of thing, at a glance.
Minimalist. I like it.
Then you've got the Malal Smart Bike app. Connects via Bluetooth.
Okay, standard app integration.
Right, but it lets you do more. Check your exact range, update the bike's firmware, plan routes. It brings that connected experience you expect now,
Got it. So you can really manage the bike system. Let's talk safety crucial in the city. What's built in?
Definitely. Visibility first. It has integrated LED lights, front and rear.
Good. Essential.
And a nice touch is they switch on automatically when you start pedaling.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. And for stopping power, you've got hydraulic disc brakes.
Which are pretty much the standard now for good bikes, right? Better stopping.
Absolutely. Consistent power, works well in wet weather, which, you definitely get in the city. Really important for sudden stops.
Makes sense.
The article also mentions an optional Bluetooth smart helmet.
A smart helmet. Okay, what does that do?
Well, it packs in more tech, integrated lights for even more visibility, turn indicators.
Turn indicators in a helmet. Wow.
Yeah, presumably controlled from the handlebars. And get this, crash detection.
Crash detection. Seriously.
Yeah. If it senses a major impact, it can apparently send SMS alerts to your emergency contacts.
That's actually quite incredible. Real peace of mind feature for a city cyclist.
Could be a game changer for some people, definitely.
Okay. The bike's also described as lightweight and agile. Why is that so key for an urban e-bike?
Well, think about city riding. Lots of stopping, starting, weaving around things.
True. Potholes, pedestrians.
Exactly. A lighter bike just feels more nimble, easier to handle. The article puts it around 15.5 kilograms.
Which is pretty light for an e-bike, isn't it?
It really is. Makes carrying it easier to upstairs, onto a rack, whatever.
Right.
And that agility comes partly from the frame material it mentions, the 061 aluminum alloy. Strong, but keeps the weight down. Good balance.
Makes total sense for city life. Okay, let's talk range. How far can you actually go? And efficiency.
The claim is up to 75 kilometers on a charge, which for most city commutes or, weekend rides should be plenty.
75 kilometers, okay.
And you've got 3 assist modes to manage that: Eco, Normal, and Sport.
Ah, so you can choose more power or more range.
Precisely. Eco stretches the battery the furthest. Sport gives you the most punch for hills or quick acceleration. You just pick what you need.
And charging, how long does that take?
The FAQ section in the source mentioned about 3 to 4 hours for the battery. Looks like it's a 236 watt-hour one based on that. Pretty standard, easy to top up overnight or at work.
Okay, so the practical side seems solid. But the big draw is that Formula One link, the design, right?
Yeah.
Let's get into the aesthetics.
Absolutely. That's a huge part of the appeal. You've got that premium silver finish, very Mercedes-AMG F1 team colors, instantly recognizable.
Very sleek.
Yeah. Though another part of the article mentions an optional matte black version, too, with those Patronus green highlights. So a couple of looks available, it seems.
Gives people a choice, which is nice.
Definitely. And it's not just paint. The lines are sharp. It looks fast, even standing still. Very F1 inspired. Even the tube shapes are supposedly aerodynamic, adding stiffness and improving the ride.
So form and function with that motorsport style.
You got it. It looks engineered, not just styled.
What about the rider's view? The cockpit area.
Right, this is interesting. The article talks about a custom one-piece handlebar with an integrated 5.5-inch full-color display.
Hang on, didn't we just talk about an LED display on the top tube?
We did. Yeah, that's a point where the source seems to mention 2 different things. It's possible there are different models, maybe, or perhaps the top tube is for basic info and the handlebar display is like a more advanced option.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe one is standard, one is an upgrade.
Could be. Either way, integrating the display into the bars makes for a really clean look, and internal cable routing adds to that tidy, maybe a tiny aero benefit too. It feels very considered.
It sounds very integrated. And the materials, we mentioned aluminum.
Yeah, 6061 aluminum alloy for the frame, that balance of strength and weight. But interestingly, another section mentions a carbon fiber frame.
Ah, another potential variation though.
Seems like it. Maybe a higher spec model uses carbon. Or maybe just certain parts. It's not totally clear from the source material. Needs checking if you are buying one.
Good point. What about other components, like tires and brakes?
Tires one part mentions Pirelli Angel Urban GTs, size 27.5 by 2.25 inch. Good all-round urban tires. But then the spec table lists 28-inch performance road tires.
Another discrepancy.
Yeah, again, could be different versions. It highlights that specs can vary. But it also mentions a Shimano CUES 9-speed drivetrain reliable shifting and Tektro hydraulic brakes, which we know provide good stopping power. Quality parts.
So it definitely sounds like it's built with decent components to back up the looks. Okay, let's dig into performance specifics. We talked MAHLE X20, but the X35 motor is also mentioned. What's the difference there?
Right. Both are lightweight rear hub motors, known for that natural feel. The X35 is specifically called out as having 250 watts continuous power and, crucially, 40 newton meters of peak torque.
Okay, torque, that's the twisting force, right? Helps with hills and acceleration.
Exactly. So while both are likely 250 W systems, that 40 Nm figure for the X35 gives a better idea of its grunt. Both are designed to be smooth and quiet, though, very suited to the city.
And these motors drive those 3 assist modes, Eco, Normal, Sport, that you choose on the display.
That's the one. Lets you tailor the power delivery.
Gotcha. And the battery, it's hidden in the frame, you said?
Yeah, really nicely integrated. Whether it's the 250 WH or the 236 WA version mentioned elsewhere, it's tucked away inside the down tube usually. Keeps the lines clean.
And the range figures varied a bit too.
Yeah.
75 kilometers, but maybe up to 100 kilometers mentioned somewhere.
Yeah, there was mention of 100 kilometers and also 60 miles, which is closer to 100 kilometers than 75 kilometers. Look, range figures are always up to, right? Depends heavily on terrain, rider weight, wind, how much you use sport mode.
True. Real-world range is always variable.
Exactly. So take those as best-case scenarios. But the 3-4 hour charge time, it's pretty consistent and practical.
Okay. So wrapping up the riding experience itself, what's the overall feeling someone gets on this bike?
The key thing they seem to be aiming for is that natural feel. Thanks to the torque sensor, it shouldn't feel like a motorbike, more like you're just having a really good cycling day.
An enhanced version of normal cycling.
Pretty much. Plus, being lightweight, under 16 kilos, makes it feel agile, easy to flick around corners or navigate tight spots. Should feel confident on typical city streets.
Okay, great. We have covered a lot of detail there. Let's try and distill it. For someone listening, what are the main takeaways on this Mercedes-AMG e-bike?
I think the core idea is that blend. You've got the Formula One design cues, that premium feel, maybe some trickle-down tech philosophy.
But matched with actual useful urban features.
Exactly. It's not just a sticker exercise, it seems. You've got the smooth MAHLE motor, that super low-maintenance Gates belt drive, huge for commuting.
Yeah, that belt drive sounds like a real plus.
Smart connectivity, the integrated lights, good brakes. Feels like a thoughtfully engineered package for the city, just wrapped in that F1-inspired design.
So it aims to be a serious contender, maybe a bit of a game changer, as the article suggests, for someone wanting a stylish and practical urban e-bike.
That seems to be the goal, yeah. Offering efficiency and maybe a bit more excitement for the daily commute.
And the safety stuff, the integrated lights, maybe that optional helmet tech adds peace of mind too.
Definitely. And that aha moment we talked about earlier, it's seeing how that peak engineering mindset from F1 can actually make a difference to a bike you ride to work. It's quite cool.
It is pretty cool. Okay, as we finish up this deep dive on the Mercedes-AMG F1 City Edition 250, let's leave our listeners with something to chew on. A final thought.
Okay.
How might ideas or tech from other high-performance areas, maybe, I don't know, aerospace, high-speed rail, how could those influence our personal city transport in the future? What other unexpected innovations might be coming?
That's a great question. Really makes you think about where urban mobility could go next, doesn't it? Beyond just bikes and cars.
Definitely something to ponder. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Mercedes-AMG F1 e-bike. We hope it gave you a solid shortcut to understanding what makes this bike tick.
Yeah, hopefully a good insight into its blend of design and technology, and maybe prompt some thought about how high-performance thinking can shape everyday things.